Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Senior Anna Zambarek of Nebraska women's tennis was named to the 2025 All-Big Ten second team today. Huskers received the honor after a strong season at number one singles and doubles, garnering ranked victories for the Big Red. Junior closer Luke Broderick has been named to the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association's Stopper of the Year mid-season watch list, the organization announced today. The award is given to the top relief pitcher in Division I baseball each season. Broderick enters this weekend's series at Maryland tied for 6th nationally and is one of 13 closers with at least 9 saves on the season. The NBA playoffs continue tonight with 3 Game 2s. Celtics hosting the Magic, Cavs versus the Heat, and the Warriors against the Rockets. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 1 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Husker runners get their leads from all 3 bases. And the 0-2. Swanson swings and drives a fly ball. Deep right field. The right fielder giving it a look. It is a grand slam for 44. Swanson deposits one into the right field bullpen. And Nebraska dents the board in a big way here in the first. 4-0 Cornhuskers.
Williams at third, Bretwell at first. No outs, the 2-1, squeezes on. But offered and missed. The steal by Bretwell, and now Williams comes in and steals home. Williams steals home 5-1 Nebraska.
Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Nick Hanley, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome in. Full 2 hours of Sports Nightly headed your way today. Nick Hanley, Jessica Coody here with you tonight. Nick, just going to be with us here the first part of the first hour because you have been a little bit busy. You're traveling again, so going to spend some time with the fam tonight. It's I guess it's probably that time of the year. Probably for a lot of the people involved with baseball where it's like, okay, this is the grind.
Yeah, it is. And, I mean, we love it. Come on, I get to go to a ballpark every day and get a chance to watch and call Nebraska baseball, which there are a lot worse things you can do. But the travel, and go back to that California trip, 11 days in the same place. And I know even we talked to Will Bolt after that, he thought that was just a very unusual quirk in the schedule. And yeah, it's going to be really nice when we get back Sunday night to have back-to-back home weekends before Nebraska wraps up regular season play on the road. So I think that's going to benefit this team a lot. And for myself, hey, no one's queuing a violin for me, nor should they. This is more for the players. But yeah, when you want to spend some time and the kids active with a lot of evening activities now too. Anytime I have a chance to spend some time with them before we're back on the road, always appreciate it.
We're going to talk some baseball, some Husker football, and then coming up hour number 2, Damon Benning going to join us previewing the Husker games, which is coming up this Saturday. A lot of excitement is building with it. I think it's going to be a fun day, so we're going to chat with him about that. Spring football, we're going to hear from a couple of the Huskers here. Jacob Bauer including one of those. What a story that is, and what an incredible conversation, Nick. I mean, he was a rugby player, was a walk-on, stuck with it, and he's been one of the storylines. And I feel like maybe that was one of us talked about the inside linebackers going into it, but I feel like that's a position now that this coaching staff feels pretty good about the depth that they've been able to build and see here this spring.
Yeah, you and I were just talking about this on Monday night about the decisions that this coaching staff is going to have when it comes to that 105, and some of those decisions on the guys that are on the outside looking in, and those conversations that Matt Raiola has already talked about, that he's already had with some of these guys and giving them a chance to showcase their abilities. And this is one of the reasons that we know that they're going to do the quarter system, and they're going to have something more resembling of an actual game like we've seen in previous spring games for some of those guys to put tape out on there. But as you and I were discussing on Monday, it's not necessarily that they don't know or they don't feel confident with the type of depth that they're going to have at that inside linebacking position. It's just a lot of very interesting and intriguing options that they're going to have. And that is an area, you and I were talking about this as well with John Butler, knowing that one of the things that people loved about the Tony White defense is seeing that rotation. And you had indicated, too, that we don't expect to see anything less than that. I mean, there's going to be some rotation, and especially in some of those positions where maybe you don't necessarily know if you've got that lock-solid guy or guys in those spots, especially on the interior linebacking position. So I think that is still going to be a fluid situation on who's going to be right there that they can keep on the 105, and that might be something that does roll into summer, in my opinion, as well.
Okay, so this has kind of been talked a little bit about, but with it's so crazy, I feel like, in spring, and even, as I've been able to take in a little bit of it, it's just you find yourself, because they're both your team, right? And so you want to see both the offense and defense do well, but so if you see the defense do something good, then it's like, oh, dang, the offense messed up. Or if you see the offense, well, oh, dang, the defense gave something up. I actually had asked Coach Raiola about this, just how you go about it. He said ultimately it's just are they doing the right things on the film? But it is, because you do feel one after every practice, and he said this sometimes in his press conferences, you leave practice and it's inevitable that one side is going to be more disappointed than the other. But I kind of get the sense that they've both flashed, and they both had a lot of good things accomplished here over the spring.
And I'm always on the fence on this one of what would I rather hear. Which side of the ball would I rather hear is either ahead of schedule or is having more good days than bad days when it comes to the good-on-good moments of practice, when it comes to the actual 11-on-11 battles and those scrimmages that have taken place too. And I still think that given the fact that there's a lot of offensive linemen that are still either limited on participation or just completely out, that I like hearing, especially with that defensive front. I mean, these are guys that have played snaps, but now they're going to do the bulk of the work, and guys that we've talked about a lot on the show. And then we're just discussing the linebacking core, too, when you're also losing some good ones there. I mean, you still have Buddha back, but they're still, again, a fluid situation there. And then we've talked so much about the defensive backs, and not necessarily you're worried about what that group is going to look like, but getting the right pieces in place and seeing how that rotation is going to work out. For me, I do like hearing that the defense is having a lot of good moments in this one, because I think that offense, I think it's to be expected when you are looking at new wide receivers, even though you're trying to build that chemistry. Building is the key word. You're still developing that between Dylan Raiola and those receivers. Offensive line might look a little bit different in the fall when you got everybody healthy, and then you're also building some depth there. So
and a new center.
That might be a little dicey. Yeah, exactly.
As good as Justin Evans has been, it's still a new role for him, which we heard him talk about the other night.
Right. And he talked about how excited he was to take on that position, but he also talked about the challenges of that position and the difference from going from guard to center. And so, absolutely, I think a lot of those moving parts with the offensive line, and some guys having to fill some holes right now while other guys are getting healthy. And then you also look at even the tight end position. I myself am very excited to see what the finished product of Heinrich Haarberg can look like at tight end, but that is still a major jump from quarterback to tight end. And so, and the running backs as well. Okay, you put more weight on Quentin Ives, but he's still getting used to that body as well. So those reps that need to continue to happen with a lot of these guys are still going to be a work in progress. And that's why spring is great for the offense to develop while you hope the defense can fine-tune. And also, as you add more reps to that new look defensive line and those younger guys, whether they redshirted like Riley Van Poppel or guys that played more of a limited role last year, now that they get to kind of cut loose a little bit, I don't think it's a bad thing that we're hearing a lot of good things about the defense here, or at least the defense maybe having the edge in some of those battles.
How about, speaking of Heinrich Haarberg, how about him calling out Coach Cook? What do you call him, a California cowboy?
Yeah. And it's spoken like a true Carney guy, right? You know, I mean, I don't think I would ever want to challenge, though, the fact that John Cook, well, first of all, I mean, his time at Nebraska, which has been, next to perfect, but I mean, he is a rancher, and this is a guy that, yeah, okay, he's got that cool little bit of a swag to him, but I don't doubt his ability if you get him on the ranch and what he's going to do, and when it comes to the roping and everything. Like, I feel like I could learn a lot from John Cook. I like a little bit of the back and forth, especially with Harper Murray kind of being the commonality between the two right there. I think that's going to be a fun little thing to see play out on Saturday.
Well, and then apparently Elijah Judy's been doing some YouTube video studies and really getting himself prepared, and I got to figure out how I'm going to call play-by-play of it. I don't know if that's even going to be doable. I don't know. I need to call. I actually have a cousin that was on the roping. Well, he's on the rodeo team, and he was a roper in college, and has raises that they raise barrel racing horses and roping horses. So I might need to call him and ask for some pointers. But I think that's going to be one of the more entertaining moments of the day is seeing that unfold.
So Harburg is going to do this, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I feel like if he's already starting to fire off some shots that he's had some training off to the side, or he's pretty confident with the way that he could show out when it comes to that. Now, I do know somebody who does PA announcing in Omaha, and he also has to travel months at a time because he does announcing on the PBR tour. And so I can get him in touch with you if you need to know maybe some. I think it'd be the lingo more than anything, right? You got to have the right lingo when it comes to that. I would not know it if it hit me in the head. So I mean, you're a better person than I am to even give it a try.
It's going to be interesting, to say the least, but the lingo is definitely the key. And also there's going to be some other competition surrounding it too. I mean, also like the wing eating contest, we're going to have to give a play-by-play for. And I think the fastest man, it seems like there's a lot of guys vying for that title. So I think even the guys that are not necessarily competing in the scrimmage part of it are going to be very competitive in these other areas. And that was another thing that Coach Rule talked about, just the ability to maybe get a glimpse of these guys that you don't necessarily always get to see in the heat of the seriousness of an actual game day.
Yeah, and I think that's what this Saturday is about, is more of that personality. I think now these young men and even women, when we're talking about athletics in general, and we're going to see the 7-on-7 flag football. A buddy of mine is running that Midland team, and I know he's really proud of the work that they put in. Look, student athletes, as you know, Jessica, are more marketable than they've ever been, and it's now allowed to be marketable too. And so I think when it comes to people and fans in general that want to be a part of that, want to be able to donate to their collectives or want to be able to donate in general, that can benefit those student athletes, not only the ones that are here, but the future student athletes that you can bring in because you have such a strong financial revenue stream that also comes from the fans. I think the fans want to see that personality. I think they want to know what and who they're donating to. And I think this is another great way to showcase not only what you could potentially do on the field and how that could impact the team on Saturdays, but also the type of guys that you might be interested in donating and helping out and being able to continue that revenue stream. And so I think in a way it's a reward to the fans, but also somewhat of a showcase that, hey, if you're thinking about donating, look at how much fun these guys are. Look how great ambassadors they are and stewards of this program and athletic department they are too. So I think that there's a little purpose there as well on Saturday.
All right, one other bit of football or a football topic I wanted to get to before we get to a break is we heard Coach Rule, and it was all over my social media. I feel like it was one of the big takeaways from the press conference yesterday is Coach Rule talking about is how, I think he said 10 steps ahead for Dylan Raiola where he is this spring compared to last spring. And I think you have to start with just his he's a natural leader, and I saw it on the sideline. You know, he cares a lot, and naturally in that position, you're going to be one of those the louder voices. But I think he's really maybe more comfortable in that role, and guys really trust him. They see the work that he puts in to me, I think that's probably the biggest step, is just being the leader of this football team. But, you just sit back and think about all the things that he's taking on and being the face of this program, and how much this time a year ago it was still a battle, right? I mean, it was still Heinrich Harburg was still in the mix. And so him taking on a lot of the kind of expectations and I don't know, just the load that comes along with being that, and how he's embraced it and how he's handled it. I could not imagine doing that when I was 19 years old, 20 years old, and handling it the way he has.
It would be so easy for a guy like that, with all of the time demands that everybody has for him, to say, no, sorry, I just want to put my head down and focus on football. And I think a lot of people would be okay with it, but he's everywhere. And
he loves being everywhere.
And that's the thing. It's genuine. I think he just loves being a part of that whole – the face of the program being one thing, but also reminding people that he is extremely happy to be here. And I don't know if he's doing that on purpose, just to kind of squash anybody's nervousness when it comes to the transfer portal. But I think he continues to show that that connection to all of the athletes on campus. And I think that there is a genuine appreciation that he has for the work that the other student athletes are putting in as well. And I think he also wants to put some of that attention back on them and not as much on himself. And that goes back to something I was talking about with the personalities. I feel like a lot of people feel they know Dylan Raiola just because they see him everywhere. And I think just being present in a lot of those other events, it does make you feel somewhat more connected to that person. I remember, and I don't mean to bring up a bad topic or the history at that position, but if you remember when Jeff Sims came here, we didn't hear or really see anything about him until we got there towards the beginning of fall camp. And then I think it was because there was some type of endorsement that he had where you're like, oh, okay. And then he had the Amigos endorsement. You're like, oh, okay, now we're seeing a little bit more of him. But there was probably a good handful of months that, I mean, and again, it's an important position. You want the guy to be as focused and locked in as he can, but you just never saw him at all. And so I don't think people maybe necessarily felt like they were as connected. But I don't also think you need to expect every student athlete to put the time into all of the other events that Dylan Raiola is doing it, and then somehow still be able to work on his craft and get better, like Matt Rule talked about, which I like how he used the 10 steps, because I think there's a lot of intentionality on what Matt Rule talks about. Heck, he's even talked about the intentionality, and I think when he says certain things, there's a little undercurrent there of, did you guys catch that? The steps. What have we all talked about with the footwork and trying to get better? I think he did that on purpose when he said something about the steps. We all know how he looks physically, just the way his body has looked a lot more lean as well, but also the footwork, being able to get rid of it quicker, and those little things that very normal to understand. A freshman maybe didn't have all of those things down as a true freshman starter. I get it. Dylan is a sophomore when it comes to football terms right now because he's in his second spring, but this is a guy that's still finishing up his freshman year. And so to see those types of strides being made, but a guy that you expect to be the first one to arrive and the last one to leave, but then all of a sudden if there's a softball game or if there's a baseball game, he's probably going to be there as well. It's pretty remarkable with everything that he's taken on, but continues to just smile about it.
So if you ask Dylan, and Coach, they'll say, and I truly believe it, there's a lot of places that he wants to be better, that he's focusing on, that he went back and watched the film and okay, I need to improve here and here and here. I go back to the first conversation I had with him that, his big emphasis is finishing, and because that's going to carry over, and how many close games that they were in that they did not finish. But if you're just talking about the quarterback skill part of it, what would be your number one area that you would like to see a step, no pun intended, but a step forward in his overall gameplay?
I would say that the footwork is paramount on that improvement. But if I really had to look at one thing that you saw from the beginning, and it didn't get all that better at the end, we know he's got the arm strength, but sometimes there's that propensity to feather the football as opposed to just letting one rock, especially on some of those, the 15-yard plus patterns when he's looking at the field when he's scanning everything to be able to just throw a bullet. And I think there's the mechanics, the throwing style, everything. It's just so smooth that I hope there's a little bit more of that velocity on the football than what we saw a year ago, where you would have a guy separating, but there'd be a little too much air under it, and then DB would catch up, and then all of a sudden you have a 50-50 ball. To where now I'd love to see where you got that separation on a go route, that he's able to get that ball in front of the receiver, and he's running right underneath it as opposed to having to come back a little bit. We saw that a little too much. And again, I don't think that that's lack of arm strength. I think there's just that ability to kind of let it rip a little bit more as opposed to being maybe too fine sometimes.
All right, good stuff. We got to get to a break here. Hour number 1 of Sports Nightly. We're going to chat one more segment with Nick. I wanted to dive into some baseball stuff coming up on the other side of this. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health, and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Make every drive exceptional with Woodhouse Hyundai. Lease the 2025 Hyundai Palisade SEL Premium all-wheel drive for just $469 per month. And when you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Owner's Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Visit us online at woodhousehyundai.com or woodhouseplacehyundai.com today. 36-month, 10,000-mile per year with approved credit. Tax, title, license extra. $1,099 down plus first payment and $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock pound HY250186. Offer expires 4/30/2025. See dealer for details.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the FSA 57 battery trimmer set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK-10 battery and AL101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Groundworks. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at groundworks.com. License number C142293.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, The perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk to your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit CVACoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Woodhouse Nissan makes shopping for your next vehicle simple. Lease the 2025 Nissan Rogue SV all-wheel drive for just $325 per month. Visit us in Bellevue or Omaha today or online at woodhousenissan.com or woodhouseplacenissan.com. 39 months, 10,000 miles per year with approved credit. Tax, title, license extra. Must lease through NMAC. First payment and $2,500 down plus $299 doc fee due at signing. Based on sale price of $33,165. VIN number SC79671. Offer expires 4/30/25. See dealer for details.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. Nick Hanley, Jessica Coody here with you on this Wednesday evening. Nick, before we let you get out of here, I did want to dive into some baseball stuff. Big series coming up this weekend on the road. But let's go back to last night and listening to you and Ben. It seemed like there were some good things happening at the plate, just couldn't capitalize and get some runs across the plate.
Yeah, and unfortunately, one of the things for this team this year has been the base running mistakes, and early in this game, especially in the first inning, right away, you had a chance to, much like when Nebraska went to Lawrence on April 8th, have a chance to set the tone, get an early lead. And unfortunately, you get on a back pick situation, then I guess it was, you have the back pick situation, then as that's going on, you decide to try to break for home, and then you're thrown out there. Just the pickoffs, the back picks, we've seen it on occasion throughout this year as well. There's been pickoffs at first base throughout the year, way more than what Will Bolt would love to see and would be acceptable for him. So I know that had to be a source of frustration. I think what Will also talked about in the post game, it did. It was a very odd game because there was a lot of hard hit balls last night on both ends of it, really. And you knew Kansas was going to bring it with what they have in that lineup, but Nebraska also with some really hard hit balls. Gabe Swanson sent one to deep right center field that at the time we didn't realize how close that was to going out of the deepest part of the ballpark where that wind was blowing in. So I don't think you're dejected at all with what you were able to attempt to do offensively. I think if there's one thing that leaves a bad taste in your mouth from last night, if you're Nebraska, was those mistakes that you had on the base path and that inability with the few times that you did get a runner in scoring position to be able to just drive one through the infield, not looking for the long ball that has served Nebraska well here as of late, but just being able to do kind of what Kansas did last night and just being able to drive it through the left side or the right side of the infield because of the way that wind was really knocking everything down. So I think that coach's tone is the correct one, though, because this is such a big weekend coming up for Nebraska, going on the road to take on a Maryland team that, by their own right, is struggling a little bit. But I told you about that ballpark there. I mean, however it is playing, pitchers have to be able to hit spots because that thing is a launching pad. So you got to be locked into what you're doing, especially on the mound this weekend against Maryland. And it just never fails. It just seems like teams get fired up when Nebraska comes to town. I don't know. It's all sports. It's people like playing Nebraska, I think, because of just the overall brand, and they're going to have fans no matter where they are. But tell us about this matchup a little bit more and what the Huskers need to do to, like you said, sweeping is hard, but even just maybe take 2 of 3. Well, and this is a Maryland team that's in a similar situation as Nebraska, where they're on the outside of the Big Ten tournament looking in. And Nebraska right now in a three-way tie with that 12th spot to make it into Omaha and be able to defend their tournament title. So I think Maryland, first and foremost, is a desperate team. It's a sense of urgency that Nebraska is now going to have to face really the remainder of the season, because the teams that are on their schedule are in a similar position, maybe with the exception of Michigan. Minnesota's trying to get in. You've got Purdue that's trying to get in as well. So you've got teams that do feel a little bit desperate. And much like this Maryland team that we've seen in the past, now, for whatever reason, they haven't been able to get it done on the mound, but they kind of like what we've seen with Kansas, like we've seen with Iowa. They've got a handful of guys that are hitting well over 300. Chris Hakapian is one of the better hitters that you're going to see not only with this team but also in the league. He's a guy that's driven in 40-plus runs. He's got 7 home runs. He's hitting at 351 right now. They've got another couple guys. Jacob Orr's another good player that Maryland will have in that lineup. So, as I mentioned, if you're playing, use the example of downtown Omaha. You're playing at Charles Schwab Field. I don't want to say you're not as focused on being able to hit the spots, but you have to be able – the ball's going to travel a little bit more, and if you make a mistake, you got a little bit more room to work with. Out here, routine fly balls can fly out at Turtle Park out there in Maryland. So it's going to come down to what Nebraska, I think, obviously they got to do their part offensively, but I think that's a trend that we really like with this team. It's going to be about Will Walsh setting the tone Friday night, being able to have the type of pinpoint control that for the most part this season we've really seen him have. That's going to be huge, especially for Nebraska trying to get off on the right foot in this series and feel like they have momentum going into the weekend.
You don't always get an opportunity to do something like what you're going to get to do on this trip. You're really excited about, and going to get a chance to see a former Husker in a big league ballpark, and it sounds like maybe the team's going to get a chance to go check it out.
Yeah, this was something that Will and I were actually talking about before we went on the air on Monday. I told him that Ben and I had looked at going to a Nats game in our SID. We were thinking about doing that since the Nats were in town and they were playing the Orioles, and then so. This was 2 weeks ago where we started tracking Cade Povich's starts, and then when we saw him get the start over the last weekend, it looked like, man, Thursday might be his next start. And then, lo and behold, we wake up Monday morning and we're looking at that, and there it is. Cade Povich is the scheduled starter for Thursday. Yeah, it was great. So I'd mentioned that to Will, and all of a sudden he's kind of looking at, all right, let's we need to try to make this happen. So very cool that they were able to work out their practice schedule to when we arrive in College Park. They'll get checked into the hotel. They'll do a quick workout, and then the whole bus is going to go out to Nats Park and watch Cade Povich throw, and he's going to have about 40 guys that are going to be rooting him on out there, all wearing red. So that's going to be really cool. I think Cade knows about this by now. I'm assuming he probably does, but what a cool opportunity on what just sounds like this entire weekend out in College Park, Maryland's going to be perfect weather too. So that'll be really neat to, I think, really light a fire for these guys too, because a lot of these guys didn't have a chance to be his teammate, but they know very, very much about how dominant Cade Povich was in that 2021 season especially. So it's going to be a really neat deal.
We've seen a lot of, here over the last few years, former Huskers go on and really have great pro careers and have continued to build off of that. And every year it seems like there's a guy that's mentioning it towards the top of the draft, going pretty early. Are there a couple of those guys on this team that you're hearing that could maybe hear their names called at this point pretty early once again for Nebraska?
I think the best chance for that was going to be Mason, and unfortunately the setback with the elbow, we'll see what the draft looks like. And, as we had that question Monday night with Will of what does his future look like, he'll get the medical redshirt, so he could come back. But I think a lot of it has to do with his timeline, how scouts are still are looking at him. Now, there is also a guy, now it won't be this year because he's not draft eligible yet, but Carson Yassa has shown some big league stuff. And for Carson, it's just it's that consistency, much like a lot of the younger pitchers finding that consistency. But Yassa's another one of those arms that it wouldn't be this year, but next year is a guy that could potentially put himself, just based on his stuff alone, could be in the top 5 rounds. So those would be the guys right now that I would say in the next year or two you're going to see have their name called early. I think Mason's situation is going to be really interesting because if it's not this year, as far as the draft slot that he would prefer, definitely has an opportunity to do that next year, which I think would be huge. And that's another unfortunate thing about the loss of Mason McConaughey, not only for what it means to him, because he's such a great person and great kid, but also for this team. But more importantly, you take a look at this young man's future and how that can impact it as well.
All right, good stuff. We'll let you get out of here then. And back on the air, 4:30 for the pregame show on Friday for that Game 1 against Maryland, right?
That's right. Yep, 4:30, and this should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to this trip. This is one of the very few that I still have yet to check off the list. So looking forward to seeing what College Park has to offer.
All right, well, safe travels, and we'll look forward to hearing you and Ben on the call on Friday night. Thanks for being here.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, we got to get to a break. Coming up on the other side of this, we're going to hear from one of the names we've heard a lot about this spring, Jacob Bauer. Keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk to your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit CVACoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Spend your day with Nebraska football at Memorial Stadium on Saturday, April 26th as part of the Husker Games. Cheer on members of the 2025 team, as well as Husker greats of the past, as they put their skills on display in various activities, including skill competitions and 7-on-7 games. The action starts at 2, and tickets are just $10 for adults and $1 for youth aged 8th grade and younger. Get your tickets today at huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Noddle Companies proudly supports the Huskers Radio Network. As a full-service leader in commercial real estate, we create thriving communities. Discover what's new in the Builders District in North Downtown, Noddle Hospitality's latest venture in Aksarben Village, and the contemporary living of row house townhomes on Leavenworth. We're welcoming world-class concepts from men's fashion and great eats to gorgeous homes and green spaces, all professionally managed by Noddle Services. These are the Noddle Companies, building a better Nebraska. For more information, check us out on Facebook and Instagram.
Husker fans, it's game day, and Pizza Hut's got your perfect play. Score the game day special for just $29.99. Get 2 medium 3-topping pizzas, 8 boneless wings, and 5 breadsticks. Enough to feed 8 hungry fans. Pizza, wings, breadsticks, and more. It's the ultimate lineup to fuel your game day. Check out the full menu online at pizzahut.com or in store. Because remember, no one out-pizzas the Hut.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Falls City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
The game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the ninth inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Hey Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody. One of the big storylines this spring has been the emergence of Jacob Bauer, who Coach Rule really raved about in his press conference last week. In fact, gave him a scholarship, put him on scholarship. He is a walk-on out of California, was a rugby player, but he's a guy, and Coach Rule said this, not a lot of the starters are going to be participating in the scrimmage portion of Saturday's Husker games, and he is going to be one of those guys that is not going to be scrimmaging. He has earned his spot. In fact, he's competing for a starting role and to be involved in a lot of different packages. So he will not be playing on Saturday, but just a cool storyline. He's emerged as a guy that's going to provide some depth at that inside backer spot, and just one of those stories that you love about college football. Here is my conversation after practice yesterday with Jacob Bauer. Well, take me back to last week. Coach calls you in the huddle and says, hey, we're going to pay for your school. Take me back to that moment. How did it feel? What was it feeling like?
Yeah, it was surreal. I couldn't have expected that to happen. So I was just really excited. To be honest, at first I thought he was going to call me up to say something to the team, and then he announced that scholarship, and so I just was overwhelmed with emotion. It didn't feel real. I couldn't even say thank you before the whole team, dogpiled me. So, but yeah, it was surreal.
What did it mean to you to have that kind of reaction from your teammates, that they were so happy for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. It truly felt like a family in that moment. I got emotional. Pop was the first one. He bear hugged me. I couldn't even move. It was hard to breathe. And then looking back at the video, just like, I got emotional because it means a lot that you know that you have a family to, be behind your back and support you. So, yeah.
Coach just raved about you and said you didn't give him a choice, but to do that for you. What has gone into the spring for you? Why have you been able to have so many good days?
Really preparation. I have a morning routine. I stick to it. I remind myself every day that it's a blessing. I've been working with Dr. Stout about mentally attacking every day and not taking anything for granted. So I'll have like trigger words like about when anything feels kind of sore, or I'm tired, or things I didn't have a great period. I like trigger these words where it's like a blessing to be up here, or it's just work, or just like reminding me that it really is a blessing to be out here. So I'd say that my preparation got me to this point.
That's great. With Coach Butler in this defense, how much have you liked just what he's implementing and the opportunities that you're able to get within this defense?
Mm-hmm. It's a similar defense, but he's got his extra, a little bit of Butler magic into it. So I love what he's doing. I love being able to play free and kind of walk around, disguise. That's where I feel most comfortable. So Butler's doing a great job. I love how hands-on he is with the defense as well. When we're in those learning periods, he's always right there to help you with every situation that you might face. So I'm excited to see how this defense works during the season.
Well, there's no denying when you talk to the linebackers, just the special relationship that you guys have with Coach Dvorak. What role has he played in your development and getting you to where you are today?
Yeah, Coach Rob is, he's always been there since the start, taking me in as a walk-on and continuously just giving me the shot to be better and work on things that I need to work on. And he was always supportive, through the hard times when I felt like I wasn't doing what I needed to be doing and I wasn't doing well. He just, same with Dr. Stout, was always like stay in the moment, just be present with where you're at and just continue to get better with one little thing, one better each day. So Coach Rob has really been a great influence in my life and my family's life. He's awesome.
Husker fans might not be aware, but you have a background in rugby too. How have you seen that help you, I guess, translate your game to this level on the football field?
Yeah, rugby is a lot about time and space, and you got to be conditioned to play rugby. And people don't really know that there's penalties with rugby. So if you tackle too high or if you tackle too low, you could get penalized in rugby. So it's kind of forced me to keep technique from rugby that I translate to football. And it's helped me with my closing speed. Tracking in your hip is what we preach here. Everything that I've learned from rugby, I try to implement in my game as best as I can. I still keep in touch with my rugby coaches, send them some clips if I'm doing something, and I'm like, hey, what do you see this here? Could I have done this better? Stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
From California, you had opportunities to play rugby in college. Mm-hmm. You probably could have had other football opportunities. Why did you bet on yourself to come here and walk on at Nebraska?
Yeah, it's a good question. I did have rugby opportunities, but football was my first love. I grew up in Seattle, so I was a big Sean Alexander Seahawks fan, and I loved playing football ever since a kid. But I picked up rugby to be more conditioned for football and to learn how to tackle better. And when I wasn't getting as much opportunity for football, I was pretty dead set on rugby. But I got that call late April 2 years ago, and it was a God moment because when I was a kid, I was in a boys' chorus, and we used to travel around America and sing. And one day, one tour, we went to Nebraska, and we actually toured this stadium and this facility. I was like 10 years old, and I still have photos of us running out in the field. And then 10 years later, I got that call, and my mom was like, "This is like a God moment. Like, this is, how do we pass this up? Because now I'm here and I'm playing with the team." So, it was a hard decision to step away from rugby, but again, when God, gives you a gift like this in your life, it's hard to walk past it, if that makes sense.
Wow, what an incredible story.
Yeah.
Just for Coach Roll to take that chance and then reward you for your hard work, what does that say about him as a leader of this program? And just, again, hard work pays off, and they're going to reward that.
Coach definitely preaches hard work, and he always made it clear that there were no walk-ons and there were no scholarship players. And with how you can see he's treating with the 105, he's giving opportunities to guys that may not see the field or may not be on the team, but it just goes to show that he loves everybody and he doesn't separate the two. So I never really felt like a walk-on, and I always knew that Coach trusted me, and I always had that love for him, and he had that love for me. And I think he was really helpful in this whole walk-on scholarship.
Well, he's going to give you guys some opportunities to actually scrimmage in front of Husker Nation. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you guys to have a crowd out there supporting you guys in this kind of opportunity?
Yeah, it means everything. I think the crowd is my favorite part since I've been here, going out and being a part of 80,000 fans and them cheering for you. It's really been awesome. So, I think we need everybody to come out, and I can't wait to see everybody, shake hands, sign autographs. So.
All right, you heard him right there, Jacob Bauer, Huskers.com/tickets if you haven't already secured your tickets to be out there on Saturday to support this football program. Got to step aside for a break. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 next.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new great trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Falls City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
If you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Experience a redefined car buying experience with Woodhouse Mazda. Visit the Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers and explore our exceptional lineup. Receive 0.9% APR for 36 months or 2.9% APR for 72 months on our full 2025 Mazda SUV lineup, like the 2025 Mazda CX-90. Visit us in-store or online at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com today. With approved credit, title, tax, license extra when financed through Mazda Financial Services. $299 doc fee due at signing. Stock number X250394. Offer expires 3/4/25. See dealer for details.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplement for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
In the game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the 9th inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
What does it mean to be locally owned and operated? For Cenex, it means everything. It means that we know if you take your coffee to go or if you like to stay a while. It means we've helped Little Leagues get jerseys and local festivals get funding. It means we know what our communities need. So you'll always leave Cenex with a full tank, full of snacks, or full of smiles. Or all of the above. And that means the world to us. Cenex, powered locally.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. Final minute here, Sports Nightly, hour number 1. Got a couple of texts on the text line. Doug in Grand Island asked about Carter Nelson. What happened to Carter Nelson? Is he injured? Not hearing his name anymore. Yes, he was one of the guys when Coach Rule had his press conference going into spring football that he announced guys that would miss all of spring football. Carter Nelson was one of those, so he has not practiced this spring as he is on that injured list. And then Dennis said the spring football game will be on the radio and the radio announcer will be. So yes, we are going to put it on the radio and it's going to be Damon and me. We're going to tag team this, and you know, obviously it's evolved quite a bit over the last couple weeks, and finding out over the last week, or actually the last month, but finding out over the last week that we will play some football. So we're going to have lots of people involved. Emmett Johnson's going to stop by. I think Dylan Raiola is going to hop on. We're going to have lots of different guys involved in the broadcast. But Damon and I will be kicking things off with the pregame show starting at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and we'll carry the action all the way throughout all of the festivities on Saturday. And then, of course, we'll have JB on for volleyball on Saturday night. Back with Hour 2 next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule, with your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or give us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sappbros.net/Huskers.
This season, give your soybeans the upgraded protection they deserve. With CVA Elite Fungicide Insecticide Seed Treatment plus Saltro, you'll get stronger above and below ground vigor and enhanced SDS protection, helping you maximize ROI. Talk to your Central Valley Ag Field Sales Agronomist or visit CVACoop.com today. Our planet is hungry. Together, we feed it. Central Valley Ag, the official co-op of Husker Nation.
Hey Huskers, it's a new day in Nebraska. Manzer Equipment, Mertz Farm Equipment, and West Point Implement of Columbus have teamed up as True Ag and Turf. Coach Rule is bringing innovation and high-performance standards to Husker football, and True Ag is doing the same to your farm with game-changing Fendt equipment. As Big Red establishes power on the field, True Ag and Turf does the same in the field by welcoming Fendt to Nebraska.
Good evening, I'm Duke Root, and our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Senior Anna Zambarek of Nebraska women's tennis was named to the 2025 All-Big Ten second team, the conference announced today. The Husker received the honor after a strong season at #1 singles and doubles, garnering ranked victories for the Big Red. Junior closer Luke Broderick has been named to the National Collegiate Baseball Writers Association Stopper of the Year mid-season watch list, the organization announced today. The award is given to the top relief pitcher in Division I baseball each season. Broderick enters this weekend's series at Maryland tied for 6th nationally and is one of the 13 closers with at least 9 saves on the season. The NBA playoffs continues tonight with 3 Game 2s. Celtics hosting the Magic, Cavs versus the Heat, and the Warriors against the Rockets. Our sports ticker is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Call a timeout. If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is there. Call, text, or chat 988. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Coming up next is Hour 2 of Sports Nightly right here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who remind you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Husker runners get their leads from all 3 bases. And the 0-2. Swanson swings and drives a fly ball. Deep right field. The right fielder giving it a look. It is a grand slam for 44. Swanson deposits one into the right field bullpen. And Nebraska dents the board in a big way here in the first. 4-0 Cornhuskers.
Williams at third, Bretwell at first. No outs, the 2-1, squeezed on. But offered and missed. The steal by Bretwell, and now Williams comes in and steals home. Williams steals home 5-1 Nebraska.
Now, here is your host, Jessica Coody, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Sports Nightly. I am Jessica Coody, and it is finally the week of the Husker games. And joining us here to kick off hour number 2 is the voice of, well, the color analyst. I shouldn't say the voice. We were just talking about that, but the color analyst of Husker football for us here on the Huskers Radio. Would you throw your name in the hat? Maybe take over both roles?
No, one is vastly more difficult than the other, and I'll stick with the analyst. That's the easier of the 2 roles.
Well, Damon Benning joining us here tonight. Well, hey, we've been talking about this, and it's changed a few times, and we've been talking about we're just going to roll with it. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited about what the day is going to bring.
Yeah, I think, part of it is just kind of, I think, the relationship we have over at the network, right, where there's a peace of mind that I think he'll take good care of me. We know we're in good hands with Josh. We've got Russ, kind of behind the scenes, making sure we don't, the wheels don't come completely off with those 2 guys behind us. So I'm probably more comfortable in the relationship than I am the format, but whatever gets us through this Saturday, I'm all in.
Well, from the start, we were talking about you potentially playing in the Legends game. That's been scrapped, the actual 7-on-7 game, for the scrimmage part of it. But are you going to be doing the wing eating contest, or do you know what contributions you might be making to the festivities on Saturday, other than being on the network?
I don't know. It'll probably be some sort of skills competition. It won't be eating. You know me, I don't like to eat while I'm working, so that's not going to be in the cards. And I don't know whose wings they are anyway, so
Wingstop. Wingstop.
Oh, there we go. So, it'll probably be some sort of skill thing, but I don't know how much skills I still have left. So I'm fully prepared to be embarrassed.
Well, Coach Raiola was saying, hey, we've got some pretty free reins on getting some guys on the broadcast. I think it's just going to be, as he changed it, and there is going to be some scrimmage and some actual football being played, but he has alluded to the skills competition of the NFL and just maybe giving fans a different kind of perspective of some of these players that you don't always get. And there's some great personalities that I think are going to be able to be on display on Saturday in some of these different events. It's not so constrained in a game-like situation.
Yeah, I actually kind of like that, right? I mean, it fits my personality, is just kind of going with the flow, and I know it fits yours, who could probably make the best out of any iffy situation. And like let's just have fun. It's still a game. I think we always worry about what we don't have and what things aren't, and I don't know, it just might be a nice Saturday to worry about the good things we do have, and look forward to trying to build towards what's hopefully going to be a pretty good football team in the fall.
So what are you most looking forward to then? Like, what are you most anticipating seeing on Saturday?
So I think I like to watch people operate under interesting or trying circumstances, and so I think this is obviously not anything that we're familiar with or that we've done before, or a stage we've been in. And so I'm interested to see the staff teach and still coach. And as a staff that has pre-existing relationships with a lot of these guys, I kind of want to watch them work and see how the guys receive instruction and how they want to lay it on the line and kind of where they are emotionally trying to function at a really, really high level. So I think those are things that kind of interest me, is to watch people work in environments that aren't always going to be easy and aren't always real spelled out for you. You don't always know what the future holds, but to see people try to kind of stay in the moment and function at a high level is something that I'm pretty excited about.
And listen, despite some of the starters not going to play on Saturday, those position coaches are going to be as much involved coaching their different position groups for the guys that are going to be playing. You know, Coach Rule brought up a point the other day, and I know you can speak to this too, about what he hopes recruits sees when they come to practice, and it's that every coach coaches everybody the same. And I mean, I've been witness to it. It is absolutely the truth. And so I think you're going to see some position coaches that are all in on helping get the most out of these guys on Saturday.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's, there's so many emotional attachments, and you don't know what the future holds. And for some guys, they're playing for maybe a potential spot. Maybe they're playing for a potential spot someplace else. Sometimes it might be guys that are just playing, and who knows what's going to happen. And so I am intrigued by that. And I do think, just think about that for a second, JC. Like, that would be pretty difficult, right? Hey, I don't know what tomorrow holds for us at the network, but hey, this one time under these situations where we don't, we may be talking about Saturday for this hypothetical, but in a situation where, hey, we just have to go out and be the best we can be. Is everybody good with that? And then you and I and Josh and Russ and those guys, we'd have to say, okay, let's shoot our shot. Let's go make the most of it. Like, I think that's pretty cool that's the goal and that's what he's after, because I'm not so sure that would be all that easy to do.
DB, Coach Rule well, and I'm completely just, my opinion here. I don't know this for a fact, but, with the downsizing of the roster, he's a guy, he gets to know his players. We've talked to so many guys that have played for him, coached with him for many, many years. And one of the first things they bring up is that he really does develop relationships with his players. And with the downsizing of the roster, that it appears to be inevitable that it's coming, the getting down to the 105 come that first game week. Where do you think this ranks among some of the harder things that he's had to do in his career, is have these kinds of conversations with guys that he wishes that it was different for? I got to imagine, just with how he is, how he's wired, and why he is able to build the kinds of programs that he's had, this has got to be one of the more tougher challenges that he's had to face in his coaching career.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And let's be honest, this is the part that he disliked the most about being in Carolina. He's just not a real transactional guy, doesn't enjoy doing the transactional sides of things. And he knows this is about relationship building. And so I think this part has been extremely difficult on him. I also think in some strange way, JC, it was part of the catalyst for wanting to do some football to begin with, where he had a couple of players in his ear that were like, hey, give me a shot at this. I'm willing to try something else. Let me try to play here and see if I can extend my value. Or, hey, this is going to be the last time I get to do anything at Memorial Stadium. Like, let's just say we lay it on the line one good time. And I think that press conference you heard last week that was him kind of wearing it on his sleeve about what some of these guys have meant to him. And, he can go into talking about Jack McAllister and things of that nature. So I think what you saw on Thursday's presser last week was the human element that he adds to coaching and kind of showed the disdain that he has for the transactional side of it. I would imagine this is one of the more difficult things that he's had to do, especially considering he is so relationship driven with young people.
So the portal closes on Friday, and we really haven't seen that many Huskers go into the portal. And, I've talked about this a little bit here on the show, but I feel like, and you've got a good pulse on this too, but the more that they get their guys in here and the more they keep building this thing, I think it's getting harder and harder for guys to want to leave and see those greener pastures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement. And I think he has really tried to put the staff together, both essential staff on the field coaching and what we would call non-essential, but still very essential staff off the field, the athletic or the academics department. He has tried to build this thing, even the facilities and what's in the facilities and what the players have access to. He's tried to make it like home. And remember, we heard him talk about the difference between a house and a home and how a house is a little more structural and it's just the parts, but a home is the way that you make it feel, and how people are really reluctant to want to leave home sometimes. And so the way that he's tried to put this thing together culturally and even physically with some of the build-out designs and where players can gravitate and have peace of mind amongst themselves, he's really tried to make this a desirable place to be, which would equally make it as tough a place to leave as well.
So what would you, again, we'll see how things look on Saturday and just maybe more of those conversations, but, if you're maybe targeting somebody in the portal right now and we know some guys are coming to visit, what would you think maybe where they might be pointing to? Maybe we could get some help here at this position group.
Yeah,
if you're bringing guys in.
I think wants versus needs will be pretty hard to distinguish, especially if they stay healthy. Obviously, you will be rolling the dice a little bit with 5 scholarship running backs. We'll see how that pans out. You like your depth in the secondary. We've heard them lament about that. You have, maybe you look at a pass rusher. I'm trying to think of the positions where you wouldn't say no if an opportunity presented itself, and that is for a quality offensive lineman and a natural pass rusher. I think if those two things kind of fall in your lap, you take them because they are hard to come by. But actively looking, I don't know. It just depends on how comfortable you are with the numbers you have in the running back room, because it's a small group. And you play 2 or 3 in a game and a guy gets dinged on a freak injury and then you're down to 4. Like, that's kind of –
which has happened here recently.
But you like your guys in the room too, so you want to be promoting the right message as well. But, maybe you start there, maybe an experienced wide receiver. It's a young group after Key and Hunter. Barney's still just a sophomore. It's not Bonner he's not inexperienced, but as a go-to guy. We'll see how that unfolds. So maybe wide receiver, but it'll be a wants versus needs thing depending on what's available.
Not just because of the roster size, but in past when portals have opened, it's like, okay, we got to go address this and this and this, which they did the last portal situation that was open. But this time you get a sense, or I get a sense, that he feels pretty good about where this football team is at. I think he really likes the group that he's built.
Yeah, I agree. I think, he kind of intimated at it, and it was, I think, taken out of context with what he clearly meant when he said, this is the team that I've been waiting for. You know, if you lack a little bit of maturity or depth, or maybe just it was hard to process what he was really saying, but the temperament of this team and the toughness of this team and how he likes the fact that they're highly competitive. He's not equating that to wins or losses in terms of this is the team. He's saying, I love where this team is. And for the first time since I've been here, I really like the fact that they want to go attack it as opposed to being in a defensive posture all the time. I completely agree with you. I think he likes this team quite a bit.
I've just noticed, talking with players throughout these last few weeks, there's just a different sense of confidence and belief, and they're not afraid to speak boldly about where they're going and what they want to achieve. And I mean, every team goes into the spring and fall saying some sort of things like that. But this is different kind of messaging. I feel like I've been hearing from these players that coming off that bowl win and the pieces that they got coming back, and there's a different kind of sense of confidence and belief in this group that I don't know if I've seen since I've been here.
I agree, and I like the fact you brought up the bowl because I think that was critical. They got that monkey off their back, and so now they're free to just kind of go play football. You're not going to be the answer to a lot of jokes or trivia questions in college football anymore, and I think there's something to that, having that weight lifted off of you to some degree. And I do think they like their roster, and I do think it is – now we'll see what it's worth in terms of wins, but I do think it's the best roster that these guys will have been a part of since they've been here. So I see the reason. I mean, you want to be optimistic about Dylan Raiola year 2. You want to be optimistic about another year with Coach Holgerson. You want to be optimistic about having 3 former defensive coordinators on your defensive staff and having a Super Bowl champion winning defensive line coach. And there's I mean, and you know how I feel about guys like Dvorak and Phil Simpson in terms of their relational skills and how they develop young people. So I get it. Plenty to be excited about. And you think you maybe have answered some of your special teams woes and bringing in one of the best in the country and Coach Eckler. There's plenty. If you're a Rule-Aid person and you want to drink up, there's plenty of droplets to go around.
What's this spring been like for you? Caleb's in the mix, you know, to be in that first group and that in the back end of this defense. I know they really like him. He's had a good spring as well. How has this spring been for you now that because he wasn't here last spring? So this is kind of his first opportunity to really get out there, maybe earn a different kind of role.
Yeah, it's been really cool. You know, he's functioning at a high level. He's happy. You know, we're now getting to worry about things like, you know, where am I going to live when I move off campus? Or, you know, can we help set up this tour? There's a showing at this time. And we just finished paying his taxes. And it's a different phase. And I think now that he is getting comfortable and acclimated, and, you know, Coach Addison the other day said, hey, you know, I really want to, you know, maybe we want to work on playing multiple positions here. I want to make sure that I have my top 5 or 6 DBs that I can cross-train. And I think that just provides confidence in him, because he said something the other day, JC, I thought it was interesting. He said, I've graduated from knowing what I need to do and where I need to be to I need to free myself up to just start going to make plays. And as a father, that, like, I equate that to life, right? You've graduated from, okay, this is the cost of living and I've got to pay taxes and these are my bills, to where I can actually look for ways to flourish and find my sweet spot and find things to do that I really want to do and invest in some other things. And so, like, the dad in me is tickled, and the coach in me that watches the culture that's being built of accountability and rigor. And when they talk about physicality and doing it day after day and the repetitiveness, like you're doubly tugging at my heartstrings too, because I know those things are not only portable to life, but, man, if you want to be a good football team, you got to be able to do those little things.
You know, you had mentioned Caleb maybe experimenting in other positions. A number of those defensive backs that I've talked to have talked about that, about being moved around. And also, I think Coach Butler might utilize more defensive backs than maybe we've seen at times. I think he likes the group and wants to find ways to get those guys on the field. What's your takeaway with that and just the versatility maybe that Coach Butler's trying to instill and being able to call on a number of guys in different positions?
Yeah, I like it. I like the flexibility. I think he's done a really good job of coaching himself into having options, which I think is really important because as a coach, I mean, that's kind of what you're after. You always want guys to play well and people to function at a high level, but you don't have to want to be committed to the idea if it's not going the way you wanted it to either. So I think it's pretty encouraging that I think they feel like they have some options. And hopefully, we don't know this yet until Saturdays roll around, but hopefully, Jess, it's more about I have options and their answers versus I have options because they're questions. So
there's a big difference in that.
There is, and I think they want to cross over into I have options because they're answers.
Okay, so draft also coming up this weekend, and expecting to hear a couple Huskers hear their name called. We might not hear. I don't know. Will we have anybody by the time we chat again on Saturday?
I think so. I think it'll be close. You know, I think Ty is going to be the first off the board, and you know, I'd like to see him be a top 65, top 70 pick. You know, obviously, and we'll see. He's worked himself into a good spot, but I'm just glad where the spring game won't be over for once, and we'll be talking about did we get a Husker drafted, right? I mean, you got to take the incremental steps, and so I'm pleased with the guys, and I'm excited for them this weekend.
Okay, but on that note, there's talks of Akrs Sanders going to your Steelers. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, the struggle is real. It's just a lot. You know, it's tough. I have to cheer for LeBron being a Laker, which has been tough. I'm not a huge Ohtani guy as a Dodger fan, and don't get me wrong, I'd rather win than lose, but Shedeur to the Steelers would really, really be testing my fandom. If there's any way to work around it, man, come on, Steelers, make that deal.
Is that because you don't think he's a good fit for the overall system? Why do you not like that?
It's not really a talent thing so much as I wouldn't give him a first round grade, so I don't want the Steelers to take him in the first round. I do think he's capable of being a good quarterback. I don't want to read about the Steelers or see them every day on the networks when I'm trying to, doing a morning show. Like, everything is going to be newsworthy because he's there. And if anybody can handle it, it's Tomlin. I'm just not sure that's what I want.
Well, listen, coming from somebody who's a big-time Oklahoma City Thunder fan, one of the players I hated the most was Carmelo Anthony, and the Thunder brought him on, and I had to learn to like him. And so now I don't dislike Carmelo Anthony. So maybe there's hope for you after all to maybe not, if it does end up happening, that you can work through it. I mean, I'm speaking from experience here.
How fitting is it in our relationship that you would end by saying something that would eat at my core, and that's that you don't like Carmelo Anthony. One of the greatest, most philanthropic pros of all time, and you don't like. Just be more mellow. Just be more mellow. He was with Denver for a while. Denver OKC had a big rivalry. I just was not a fan. And then all of a sudden he signed with the Thunder. I had to become a fan. So I feel like if I can work through that, you can work through, Shedeur Sanders being a Steeler. You've said words to me. You're forgiven. All right. Well, we're going on the air at the pregame show at 1 o'clock on Saturday. You ready? I'm ready. Let's do it. We're just going to roll with it. We'll have some fun. It should be a fun broadcast. I'm excited. Just the way I like it, a total free-for-all. All right, DB, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Damon Benning here with us on Sports Nightly. Woodhouse has been a trusted partner in your everyday since 1975. Shop for your next vehicle with the home team at Woodhouse and the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics. More of the show coming up after this.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Set. Hike. When champions take the field, they come ready to play. TNL Irrigation understands the value of momentum. Like a Husker drive, there's no stopping. If you live for farming and football like we do, TNL Irrigation has you covered. Check your fields from the game with a remote system, or just enjoy the play knowing our systems are reliable as a sold-out Memorial Stadium. Touchdown! Nebraska born, Nebraska strong. Husker Nation and TNL Irrigation are like no other.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
The game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the 9th inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra. The perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens.
I'm Jason Pinky, a farmer near Craig, Nebraska. Soybeans are vital for feeding our livestock, and they're also a powerhouse protein source for people worldwide. Our world needs protein, and Nebraska soybeans are making a difference.
From tailgate grills to global plates, farmers deliver affordable, nutritious protein to build muscle and energy for everyone. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
I got to see my brother get married.
I would have missed my dad's birthday.
Because I wore my seatbelt, I had the privilege of being part of his special day.
I got to go home and see my family again.
Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
I would have never had the chance to see my daughter become a doctor.
I was able to go to my brother's graduation.
I wouldn't have adopted my first pet.
And then it clicked. My seatbelt saved my life. Does it click yet?
Brought to you by NDOT Highway Safety Office.
On game day, every play counts. Now imagine having the same level of control in your field. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Real-time, play-by-play control means you're always ahead of the game. Score big with simplified irrigation technology from Valley, improving your life both on and off the field. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid mineral with protein or Sweet Pro block supplements for space feeding, while also stretching your forages up to 25% better, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blauhorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
The game of life, we all step up to the plate. Sometimes it feels like we're facing a curveball with no clear path. Call, text, or chat 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. It's free, confidential, and staffed with trained counselors ready to listen and provide support. Don't wait for the 9th inning. Reach out, speak up, and let's strike out life's challenges together. Because we're more than players, we're a resilient community. Remember, in times of need, call a timeout. Call, text, or chat 988. It's okay to ask for help. We're here for you. Every swing, every slide. Play ball. Presented by Nebraska DHHS.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back to Sports Nightly. I'm Jessica Coody, and we've talked a lot over these last few weeks about that, really over the last couple of months, about that 105 roster limit and the potential that is going to take effect on college football and really across the country going into this season. And the trial and all of the legal stuff has been messy. It's been ongoing, and the settlement, of course, is in progress right now. But the judge that is presiding over it, which is Claudia Wilkin, really over the last couple of hours, some news has come out that they tweaked the settlement, whatever, and came back to her. But she has come out and said that she has told the attorneys, she's given them 14 days to phase in or grandfather in the roster limits, or she will deny the House settlement. Ross Dellinger, who's been really at the forefront of covering all of this over the last year or so, has posted a few articles kind of explaining a little bit more of what's going on. But it sounds like that, and a couple of the folks that have been covering this have gotten some statements that they're going to try to address it with the NCAA and work to tweak that part of the settlement, or they'll have to go to trial, which I don't think anybody wants to do, and especially not the NCAA and those parties. So maybe there will be some changes to that here over the next couple of weeks that we will hear about, being that that's the one thing, if that changes, if that part of the verbiage or the either grandfathering in or changing that part of the settlement, if that changes, she will approve it. And so if that's the one thing that's holding it up, they've got 14 days to figure it out, or it sounds like they might be headed to trial. So hopefully that does get worked out. I hope that it's something that, and Coach Rolls talked a lot about it, that he hoped that it would be grandfathered in, and so that these players that are on current rosters will not just be, out of luck and all those spots eliminated and then having to find a home come that first game week. And so hopefully that this is changed and some of that will be grandfathered in. Who knows? Again, it's changed so much over these last few weeks, and there's been so much back and forth that, hopefully some more information will be coming out here over the next couple of weeks. And on that note, Troy Dannon is scheduled to have his next athletics director show coming up a week from tonight. So hopefully we will be able to talk with him a little bit more, get some clarity on that, just the where it's headed, what it could look like, what those changes might be. He I've said this a lot. He has such a good pulse on just the overall landscape and what's going on behind those closed doors. He's talking to the right people. So hopefully he might have some information for us there in terms of that and the settlement and the progress of that. We've also gotten several questions here on our text line. I've been messaged on multiple social media platforms. I know it's brought up in our YouTube chat often, wanting to know about the progress of the next voice of the Huskers. And that process is ongoing, and we want to make sure that we get the right guy in here, right? And so, we heard from Troy one of the times that he was on that, we're going to open up a search. It's been posted, the job's been posted, and I can tell you that we've had interest across the country. And so we're going to, take our time and make sure that we're getting someone in here that's the right fit for Husker Nation and for the Huskers Radio Network. And I promise you will find out here on our networks as soon as we are allowed to make that information public. And so it's a process. It's in process too right now. And so that search is ongoing right now, and we will keep you updated on that. But I've been trying to respond when I can, but I figured I'd just address it here on the air. Being that I feel like every night we're getting questions about it, and I know it's a big job, and it's big shoes to fill with Greg. And so mentioned earlier when we had a question about will we have the radio broadcast this Saturday, we will. And it'll be Damon and me tag teaming it and getting us through it. And we're going to have a lot of help from current players and coaches going to hop on the broadcast. And it should be a lot of fun. We're going to hear it from a lot of those guys as Coach Roll wants this to be opened up and you can get to know some of these guys. So getting some mics on some of these guys. And so we will have them on and a part of our broadcast. But the process is ongoing, and we will keep you posted and updated with as much information as we can. And as soon as, we get to the, I guess, the more, the steps as they become more, I guess, permanent or whatever that might be, we'll pass along that. I promise you'll be the first to know here on this radio network when that decision is made. All right, we got to step aside for a break. On the other side of this, we're going to hear from Amari Sanders, one of those defensive backs Damon and I were talking about that's in that rotation. A lot of those guys fighting for playing time and had played quite a bit as a true freshman last year, and so he's had a good spring. So we're going to hear from him coming up on the other side of this. Hey, Huskers, stop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier.
Want to boost Nebraska's economy and help the planet? It's as easy as filling up your tank. Switch to soy-based biodiesel to cut greenhouse gases by up to 74% and support biodiesel growth.
I'm Greg Anderson, a farmer near Newman Grove, Nebraska, and biodiesel has transformed our farm. It cuts emissions, raises the cetane number, and improves fuel lubricity.
So ask for biodiesel where you fill up. It benefits our air, economy, and Nebraska soybean farmers. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
Sophistication meets performance in your new vehicle from Woodhouse Cadillac. Explore special financing and exclusive offers happening now. Receive $7,500 in savings plus 3.9% APR for 36 months on the 2024 Cadillac XT5 Premium Luxury. Visit us in store or online at woodhousecadillac.com. With approved credit, stock number KK240330. Must finance with GM Financial. Courtesy transportation vehicle of 2,098 miles. $299 document due at signing. Offer expires 4/30/2025. See dealer for details.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear Truckin' Awesome, want more horsepower in the stable? The Tundra iForce Max is the most powerful Tundra ever. With its electrifying twin-turbo V6, you got everything you need. Saddle up the Tacoma TRD Pro. Its segment-first performance seats are designed to smooth out the shocks when the ride gets bumpy. The Toyota 4Runner is part mean streak, part wild side, and an all-around icon. Check out that signature power rear window, will ya? Yes, sir, Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
See your Omaha Metro and Lincoln Toyota dealers. Corwin Toyota of Bellevue, Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Baxter Toyota of Lincoln.
When you're in the stands and have the ability to control your irrigation in the field, it's a game-changing moment. Valley is where farming meets end zone efficiency. With AgSense remote irrigation technology, farmers become the MVPs of their fields. Experience real-time, play-by-play action and control that keeps you ahead. Score big with irrigation technology from Valley. It's technology that improves your life and lets you be at the game and in the game. Find your local Valley dealer at valleyirrigation.com.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule. With your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or give us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sappbros.net/Huskers.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
For farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices.
I'm Ann Meese, a farmer near Elgin, Nebraska. I grew up on this land, and we're dedicated to being good stewards and leaving it better for the next generation.
Since 1980, U.S. soybean farmers have boosted production by 130%, all while lowering emissions and improving land and water use. Nebraska soybeans, feeding, fueling, and innovating for the future.
The Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center is sponsored by Akrs, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Akrs, solutions for every field. Welcome back. Got a couple segments left here on Sports Nightly. Had a chance to catch up with one of the young defensive backs they're really excited about in this program. Amari Sanders was able to utilize that 4-game redshirt rule last year, also played in the bowl game, and still hold on to his redshirt. So going into his second season, first spring, though, with this Nebraska football program, but he's made a lot of progress, and I know he's a guy they're really excited about. Here's my conversation with Amari. Okay, well, first spring ball for you. How's it going?
It's going well. It's very exciting. Obviously, this is my first spring. I came last year in the summer, so just experiencing like everything that it has to offer with spring is truly amazing for sure.
You got some opportunities last year with the redshirt rule. How do you feel like your game has really grown just in the last year since you've been a Husker?
It's grown a lot. Obviously, you just stated that I had my redshirt year, so I experienced some time playing 4 games. So it's been good just learning the system, learning everything that it has to offer. So I feel like I'm in a great position where I'm in now. So.
There's a lot of competition in the defensive backs room. You're right there in the mix. How confident do you feel in making a bigger impact and taking on a bigger role for this defense?
I'm very confident, very confident. As I said before, I feel like that year, my redshirt year, it gave me more confidence. Just learning the scheme, learning like what I have to do to play at the highest level. So I feel like I'm in a great place, and I'm looking forward to compete for that starting spot for sure.
Well, Coach Butler obviously was your position coach last year, now taking over as the defensive coordinator. How has that been, and what do you like about what he's bringing to the defense?
I love it. I love him as a coach. I mean, he's very hands-on. He knows a tremendously lot about the game of football, so just learning from him is a blessing for sure. He puts us in the right position at the right time. So.
The competition at the defensive back spot with so many different guys that are so talented, how has that helped you guys grow throughout spring and pushed you guys to be better?
A lot. It pushes a lot to be better. I mean, obviously we have high expectations of one another, so just seeing us compete at the highest level is only going to make it easier on Saturdays. So, I mean, it's a blessing for sure.
How is it matching up against those wide receivers? We've heard a lot about that battle between the DBs and the wide receivers.
A lot of competition. It's fun. But again, it's going to make our jobs easier on Saturday. So
out of Florida, right? Tell me about just, your journey here, why you chose Nebraska, and why you felt like it was going to be a good fit for you.
I chose here, obviously, for the coaching staff. I feel like I had a great relationship with all the coaching staff. They want to see the best in me. I feel like they stayed in contact through all my career recruiting process. So I feel like this is the right place for me, and I want to grow here, and I want to be a Husker for life. So I want to end my career here for sure.
Just overall, this defense, how do you feel like you guys have progressed from practice 1 to now that spring ball is closing? How do you like the progress that you guys have made?
The progress has been tremendously great. I mean, obviously we're taking it one day at a time. We're installing a lot, but I feel like our guys is like really tuning into the scheme. And I feel like we're doing well. We're taking it day by day. So.
Seems like a lot of energy. You guys bring the fire out there. How important is that to just, what this defense needs to be for you guys?
It's tremendously important. I mean, we have to set the tone each and every day. Just competing with our offense. They have a great talent over there. So as long as we compete with one another, we're going to bring the best out of one each other. So.
All right. Well, how excited are you for I know not a spring game normal, but you guys are going to play some ball out there. How excited are you for your first one?
I'm very excited. I mean, to see the fans there, they're going to bring the energy. I know how Husker fans get, so I'm very excited to see the fans and put on a show for them. So.
How important is it for you guys to close this thing out on a high note on Saturday?
Very important. I mean, we want to set the tone going into summer and fall. So, I mean, it all starts now. So, we got to finish, like Coach Raiola always said, we finish at the end. We don't finish now. So, I'm looking forward to it.
What were some of the things that you were focusing on personally that you knew that you needed to tackle this spring?
Just being technically sound in my fundamentals. Obviously, just staying consistent on what I've been doing. And just getting my strength. So I feel that's what I've been focused on more.
And now that chapter's closing, what's your next goal for the summer and before you move into fall camp?
Summer, just staying consistent in the process each and every day, and just being confident in myself. I feel like that's what I'm working on for sure.
All right, lastly, just got to ask you about Coach Williams. What has he brought to the room? How have you liked working with him?
He's great. He's great. Very hands-on. He cares about his players. He knows a lot about the game of football. So just having them in our position room has been tremendously great for us. So.
One last thing for you. Just can you give a push to Husker Nation to come out on Saturday?
Husker Nation, pop out. You know what it is.
Awesome. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. You heard him. Huskers.com/tickets. There's a lot going on throughout the day, but it does mean a lot to these players to have you guys there and the fans in the stands, no matter what the day looks like, but to be out there. And I think there's just going to be a lot of opportunities to be able to interact with these guys, and being that it is not such a structured game. So get on out there and have some fun on Saturday. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, gonna get to our final break. We're back to wrap up hour number 2. Next, and Hey Huskers, or Woodhouse has been a trusted partner. Hey Huskers, shop by your local Hy-Vee where they've lowered prices on thousands of the items you use every day. Hy-Vee, dedicated to making your life easier, healthier, and happier.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which automaker assembles the most vehicles in the country? Ford. That's not a coincidence. It's a commitment. A commitment Ford dealers share by offering employee pricing across a full lineup of Ford vehicles.
Now get employee pricing plus 2.9% financing plus $2,000 cash on a 2024 F-150. Only at your Midwest Ford dealers. Driven by value.
No need to hunt around for friendly service, low prices, quality products, and great experiences. You'll find it all with the local experts, Sapp Brothers Petroleum. If you're tired of tracking down another late delivery, it's time to consider Sapp Brothers, where we pride ourselves on delivering products on time or even ahead of schedule, with your safety our top priority. Switching is easy. Just shoot us an email or get us a call. And right now, when you contact Sapp Brothers for any of your fuel, propane, or lubricant needs, you'll be entered to win a guided pheasant hunt next fall. Visit sappbros.net/Huskers.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you get coverage options based on how much you want to pay for car insurance. And then you decide how to spend the rest of your money, because you're in charge. And right now, you're going to pay for groceries. But you decide what groceries. Just keep in mind you're running out of dishwashing soap. But you decide if you're going to buy that soap. Just those dishes won't clean themselves, will they? Remember, with Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. And then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Getting ready to take on spring? Make your first move with the reliable performance and power of Steel battery tools. From hedge trimmers and mowers to string trimmers and more, save on select Steel battery tools. Right now, save $50 on the FSA 57 battery trimmer set. Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. With AK-10 battery and AL101 charger. Offer valid for a limited time only while supplies last. See participating dealer for details.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Huskers on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Welcome back. Final segment here of Sports Nightly on this Wednesday evening. I'm Jessica Coody, and here is What's on Tap, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. We talked earlier about the series for Husker baseball at Maryland. That gets started with game 1 Friday at 5 o'clock, Saturday 1 o'clock, Sunday noon. And Ben and Nick will be on the call all weekend long for the action right here on the Huskers Radio Network. The pregame show on Friday starting at 4:30. Big series for Husker softball at Washington. And Washington has been one of those teams that's been towards the top of the Big Ten, but this would be big for Husker softball, for the RPI, and just resume building to get a series win on the road at Washington. 8 o'clock on Friday is first pitch there. Saturday, 5 o'clock. Sunday, 3 o'clock. And Nate Rohr, because he's got duties with Husker football, he's going to be on the mic, the PA in stadium. He is not going to be making that trip. So we are sending our very own Camden Cohn with Husker softball. So he will be on the call for that action all weekend long. Tune in, give Camden a listen as he has this opportunity on us this weekend. Can't wait to hear him. And then the Husker games. We have been talking about it. It is coming up this week, but it's not just football that is involved on Saturday. We have the tours of the new facility that starts from 8 to noon. Of course, you got to have tickets for that. And then the sale starts from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And 12:30, the gates will open. 1 o'clock is that women's flag football game. So you want to be in your seats for that. And then all the football stuff with Husker football starts at 2 o'clock. And 4:30 for the soccer game, part of the Husker games against Wyoming. And then 7 o'clock is the volleyball match against Kansas. 6:30 pregame show. JB and Lauren will be on the call for that. So we've got a busy day coming up on Saturday covering all of this good stuff. But Huskers.com/tickets, and the food trucks will be going pretty much all morning long as well. So lots of fun stuff there surrounding Saturday. So get on down here and be involved with all the different. I can't wait to see what the hauls are for the spring sale, because I'm told that they've got some really, really awesome, things that you could purchase. Lots of different things. You got helmets, all kinds of gear from all the different sports. So lots of things that you're going to be able to purchase there that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get your hands on. I can't wait to see the setup. So again, all that starts at 9 a.m. with the sale there. You have to have a ticket from one of those spring events, either the football game, soccer, or volleyball, to be able to get into that. We're going to talk more about all of the process, what's going to come up on Saturday, just the all the different moving parts of it with Haven Fields. He was on for a couple quick segments with Troy Dannon a couple weeks ago, but we didn't get a chance to get into everything. So he's going to be here with Jay Foreman coming up on tomorrow night show. And also we have another football availability tomorrow. And Coach Roll had announced on yesterday, that we will hear from Pat Stewart, the new general manager. He'll be available, so I should get a chance to chat with him one-on-one. I think Dylan is also going to be available as we wrap up spring. So lots of fun stuff coming up on tomorrow's shows. We will have another full 2 hours. So back-to-back, it's kind of rare these days to have back-to-back nights with full 2-hour shows. And mentioned earlier that next week, a week from tonight, Troy Dannon will be in, so we'll have lots of questions for him, lots of things to catch up with there. So, all right, that is going to do it for me here on Sports Nightly. We'll be back again, like I said, tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Thanks to Duke for helping run the show. Russ, Nick, Damon, everybody that was a part of it. Have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow night here on Sports Nightly.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Life doesn't come with guarantees, but working with Rob Seco comes pretty close. Our strategic investments in the seed we offer are designed to directly improve your bottom line. From full trait platforms, breeding and development, to field-by-field planning and seed-driven crop inputs, with Rob Seco, you have precisely what you need to improve plant performance and increase yield. Every farm, every crop, and every acre. Learn more at robseco.com.
Nebraska Lottery.
Hey, I heard Trucks and Bucks is back.
Yes, sir. And this year you could win one of 8 new gray trucks. People from around the state just love this game.
They do?
You bet. Just this morning, I got calls from excited players in Burwell, Sutton, Fall City, and Ralston.
Well, you can add Wilbur to the list.
You're from Wilbur?
No, that's my name.
Oh.
Hey, if you get a call from Alma, that's my aunt.
That's her name?
No, that's where she lives.
Trucks and Bucks top prize odds are 1 in 336,000.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it's safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health and find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Find the perfect blend of elegance and innovation at Infinity of Omaha. Right now, receive 1.9% APR for 72 months on the full lineup of 2025 Infinity QX60s, plus $1,000 spring bonus. Enjoy sophisticated design, groundbreaking technology, and a luxurious ride that redefines what's possible. Explore online at infinityofomaha.com or visit our showroom today with approved credit, tax, title, license extra when financed.